till lights out. Take a ride back to my place, you watch your mind. If you don't know what this is, I tell them one by one, some one by one. Twist my wrist. Goes like this, move from the back, eyes on me. Ain't like that, just like this. Here for the night, do it by then. Just keep watching. Just keep watching. Just keep watching.
Here we go now. It is back, and we are here for some D1 action here in Austria. 36 laps around the 4.3 kilometer circuit with 10 corners, super high speed, 3 DRS zones throughout it, with the slow sector 2 heading down the main straight around this Red Bull track.
Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. This is, we're already partway through. If you can hear me, Division 1 qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix. We're already a few minutes into the session. It started wet. Perhaps this session will stay wet. First qualifying fastest lap time so far is a 1:14.351 for this, the round 6 of the the Best Racers League of Extraordinarily Average Racers. Division 2, round 6 at Austria. We are 12 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the short qualifying that we have. Currently right now, if you're watching us on Twitch, TikTok, Kick, YouTube, and of course the Discord. Make sure you say hi and make sure you interact with everyone else in the chat. Everyone is currently on intermediate ties as it stands right now. And that said, fastest lap goes so far to Punisher, who is in a Williams, who has set a lap time only 28 thousandths of a second off. Actually, more than that, 2 tenths faster than Ethan, who has an identical lap time to still in third place as it stands right now. On board with Smooth, operator who is in the Haas, about to finish his flying lap. And his lap time takes him up to ninth place with a 1:15.307. And up to ninth place is Vecton, takes fastest lap of the session so far with a 1:13.914. And Ruko set a lap time just under a tenth of a second off that for second place. As Young Wills was the next fastest lap of the race, all fastest lap of qualifying at the 1:13.3. As it looks like the racetrack is getting faster. 6 tenths off 6 tenths gap to next best with Young Will. And we've got Mark, who is recovering from the inside of turn 6, I believe that is, to get back on circuit. I'm not quite sure how it ended up that far off the circuit at turn 6, but he's gone all the way deep, pause, at in the mid section. So as it stands so far in the championship, it is well, I wish I had the championship standings in front of me, but I'll get to that in a bit. So as you see, intermediate ties would definitely be one as well, I don't know if Mark actually ventured out on the wrong set of tires, which might explain his incident just a moment ago. Or he's returning to the pit right now as we see. And just just a bit of information for anyone who doesn't know, maybe joining us for the first time. This is our Division 1 race. We had a Division 2 race earlier. In Division 1, as we see one of the McLarens impatient in entering the pit lane. That was fact coming in to change for his next set of tires in the McLaren. The Division 1 race is made up of how the session goes. It's a short qualifying session, so that'll be 18 minutes for the qualifying session, and the race is a full is half distance, so 50%. So the race that is coming up will be 36 laps of racing in, well, literally questionable weather because we don't know quite what the weather will be like. Chris has just begun his first lap, and he is in Williams. Turn 1 looks pretty clean with it. So now he will approach turn 2 is really a nothing corner. Looks like it's gone purple in sector 1. As he enters turn 3 pretty cleanly. We may well get some on boards of many of the drivers who are on the fastest lap or who are on each of their laps at any time. Also, just a reminder to anyone who may also be listening and is participating at the same time. Ghosting is off in qualifying, as obviously it is in the race as well. So make sure if you do see any of the cars ahead of you or around you, I should say, once you're on your once you're in your out lap, your calling lap, and your in lap, make sure you stay off the racing line so as not to impede anyone who is on the hard lap. Only is Young Will on pole position, but let's see if what Chris can do to finish his second flying lap. Across the line on what seems to be a drying racetrack, Chris goes across with a third fastest lap time. It's a 1:13.437. It's only 5 thousandths of a second off his who was the race victor in our last race in Bahrain, seeking for a second pole position for him this season as Punisher, and the other Williams goes fastest with a 1:13.195. So race circuit maybe will be getting faster and faster as the lap times go on, and as the time definitely as Ethan goes down into the 12 it's a 1:12.216. Well, that's a lot of time being found there. So Ethan in the kick is so far holding pole position by almost a full second. And we got a Williams has gone wide and wild, and that is Punisher, who is out of qualifying. That's on the straight approaching turn 4. He went all the way wide, oh, all the way off into the wall in a straight line. So not quite sure what happened to Punisher there. He was holding second place as he may well fall down the order, but commiserations to Punisher. I have no idea what happened to that. We might get a comment from him during the session, but very unlucky what has happened to Punisher at this precise point on the circuit. Rumble currently with Sosa, our championship leader. We will as we turn in as we're at the halfway part of the circuit, and he's got his teammate Ruko is ahead of him. May well be giving him the slipstream if he doesn't jump out of the way of his teammate. Then again, might actually be giving him some dirty air as we approach the return 8, 7, and 8 through here. Those are championship leaders so far who have not been off the podium in each of the races, the first 5 races of the season so far. Let's see what he can do here. Qualified on pole, I believe in the last 2 races, he's definitely in pole. And his search for pole gets him to third right now with a 1:12. Right, 3:73. 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session for the Austrian Grand Prix here in Spielberg. As we see young Will in the Williams, he's just about beginning his lap now. Coming in sixth on the 1:13.3. And we must have missed to go across the line with the 1:11.9. So that is now the benchmark for everyone to reach. Yoriaki Yakiyama in the Red Bull goes fifth with a 1:13.062. Focusing on Zephyr now entering the first corner. Johnny 10th right now in the ORB, using the pink and silver livery. For this one, he's found himself 2/10 of a second in the first sector alone. Racetrack will be, as you can visually see, it's getting drier, which means it's getting faster, getting warmer at the same time. So intermediate tires, they should be the choice, but perhaps there may be a couple of drivers who might try and make a risk and going to dry tires, as young Will is taking all the risks out of turn 10. Goes across the line, a little bit sideways, but look at that with the fastest time. 1:11.210, looking very fast right now. As Vexen comes across the line with the second fastest time, still 3/10 of drift with a 1:11.554. Four and a half minutes remain as we see Zephyr come across the line to finish this lap. Let's see what he can do. From 14th, he goes up to 9th with a 1:12.591. 4:14 left on the clock. We've got 18 of our drivers who have set lap times. We're just waiting for Mark to set his and perhaps FIA, who is looking as though he's on an outlap right now. We see Randall Johnson across the line, putting himself up into row 3. 5th place with a 1:12.2. 16 thousandths of a second separate he and his teammate Ethan. And even from Blood Baseball right behind him, there's not much of a gap, 23,000 in 7th place. Looks like this will be staying a intermediate tire session to the end. There is still rain falling, as you can see. I did think it was drying up, but we did see just caught glimpses of a car recovering from the gravel. Not too sure who it was, as that was a little flash that we saw. As we focus on FIA coming out of turn 4, using the outside line, that means that you steer in as little as possible. It means that you can be more confident on the throttle with it. Comes through with a Kynes line through turns 7 and 8. How does it attack the final 2 corners? Yellow flags, blue car entering the pit lane as one of the pits of lead Renault Johnson. Turn 10. They're not going to validate by going too wide. He's kept it very clean and across the line with a 1:12.9. That'll be good enough for 14th place. As it stands right now, with 2 minutes remaining, Young Will is on pole by 3/10 of a second with a 1:11.2. The racetrack will be getting busier and busier from this moment on as we have our third sort of bias this lap amongst every one of the drivers on this a pretty damn uh, Red Bull ring here in the Spielberg Valley, very close to the old Dudbeck airfield. We see Zephyr finishes next lap and across the line. Does he improve? He does. By 2/10 of a second and a little bit more up to ninth place. And that ninth place time is a 1:12. 366. Only 1/1000th of a second up on Mark. As Truly Santana, I believe, did he just start his lap? That might have been his warm up lap. Currently setting the 20th fastest time out of 20 so far. So faster lap to come from him surely as everyone else. We do have a few who are chancing it on red mud, soft tires. Those are the dry tires. It's Randall Johnson, back, and Jesus Rules trying to see and to take advantage of a warming track. The track is evidently warming up. However, is it drying up? We'll see if it works to the benefit of that trio in the kick, the McLaren, and the RB respectively. Final minute to win it for pole position. Let's see who can do what. Bandmaster is debuting in D1 as a reserve driver. Let's see what he can do. Currently in 19th place with a 14.5. This will be his most recent and surely his fastest lap. He's starting to turn 9. And now, final corner. All acceleration down, DRS not quite yet being able to be deployed. Bandmaster goes up to 14th with a 1. Uh, did he go up to 14th? He might have gone farther than that. Can't quite see. Yes, he was up to 14th, and then his teammate Joey Santana surpassed him by a tenth and a half of a second. Only 14th and 15th places respectively, Joey Santana and Bandmaster. As Rico goes across the line into the 10. It's a 1:10.7. How about that? There we go. That is Ruko currently with the fastest lap of the section. I may that the fastest lap from back across the line into the 10 car away. 1:10.205. Alrighty then, so as the checkered flag is about to wave, and I believe is waving right about now, the lap times are getting faster, the drivers are getting more confident, and we may well see, we will definitely see a change in order. Moved up away across the line, day 7th, improved by almost 8/10, but stays exactly where he is. As you know, he doesn't, goes up to 4th, 5th, across the line to 6th, and the Williams. Let's cross the line, step up the 3rd with a 1:10.772. Okay, well that was used up pretty fine. As Willie Santana dives into the pit lane, who do we have? He has to finish the lap. I believe we've got a Mercedes. Is that a Mercedes? And as we see, Cheers across the line with a 1:10 flat. Pole position. He's chasing another pole position. He got it first time at his own Grand Prix in Zandvoort. And now it's Spielberg as Plant goes across the line. He had second, and then Ethan beat him for second by exactly a whole tenth of a second. Yano Pitbull breath across the line with a 1:10.4. And now Vexen, what can he do? Can he do any better? He improved. Oh no, he didn't improve on this. Slappy may have made a mistake on this next attempt. But as it stands, with Ruko, Noriaki Yakiyama, and Santana already in pits, everyone has already seen the checker, and we have our man on pole position for the second time this season. Is in the Aston Martin will start with no one else ahead of him on pole position by only 20 thousandths of a second. Oh, there we go. And I was also coming up on your screen right now. 20 thousandths of a second separate first and second, and almost double that to fast and third. Young Will is third. Not Ethan is starting alongside Cheers on row 1. Front baseball, Vexen, Mark. Yellow Purple, Europe Sosa. And then it's the two Mexicans, Ruko and Zephyr, sharing row 5 in 9th and 10th places respectively.
Check, check, check.
Check, 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 check. We can
We're
hear you,
back.
Alex.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Technology, folks. My days. Anyway, I was able to catch enough of that action. So yeah, a couple of really solid laps there from Chiz. He pulled that kind of provisional pole a couple times there, and then finished it off there. Kind of we saw it in the background, him cross the line, but didn't quite ride on board with him as he crossed the line, as there was so many cars crossing the line kind of through those final seconds there. So weren't able to grab a full grasp of all of it, but yeah, really solid qualifying there from a couple, and it's a very different looking front row and front, or I should say front couple rows than kind of what we're used to here.
Yes, it is. I just have to remark as well. I think this might be the first time this season that we have Chiz and Ethan starting side by side with each other on the grid. I think this is the first time they'll be starting on row 1, so we shall see how it all plays out. The race is about to start. It's looking dry. Let's see for the 36 laps if we'll get through turns 1. Pretty fine.
2, 3, 4, and that's the 5th light. And out they go. That's a quick light. That's a solid launch there from Ethan. Will he be alongside and be able to make a dive here into turn 1 on Chiz? Just not quite close enough. He has a little bit of a look and locks up, which lets Chiz absolutely rocket away from not Ethan. And Jano Pitbull, I'm sorry, must be something going on with our board there to have Jano Pitbull. I believe he might be, is he maybe out of the session? I don't know. It looks like we
I've
have
got a
a
full course yellow.
VSC.
Yeah, we've got a full course yellow. Not quite sure who and where the accident was and who it involved. But we do have a full course yellow as it stands right now. Sosa is down in 20th. He would have broken front wing, so he's lost the front wing end plate and a little bit more wing and wing plate as we go green flag racing again, Gray.
Yeah, so it looks like UW, I saw him kind of falling through the pack there. He must have made contact with someone there in turn 1, and maybe the debris causing the VSC a little bit there, but we're back racing here. And once again, Chiz on the charge, and once again, kind of look away from our board here as Jano Pitbull is not in first place. I'm not sure what's going on with that, as Chiz is first across the line, meaning he will get the fastest lap so far, but Jano Pitbull does a 1:69.28 as the fastest lap. Does that make any sense? I don't know. And I'm wondering if UW Sosa maybe contact with Truly Santana, who is into the pits already, an early pit stop, probably hoping to take the hards as long as he can. Yeah, this is looking quite interesting with Jano Pitbull in first by a minute in lap 3 here.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what's happened in real life. That would be a transponder issue, but we don't quite see how that manages to play out in video game. So yeah, disregard Yano being in P1. It is tier 2 lead, and you see him on your screen as Plant Baseball is looking to attack Ethan. He saw Ethan go a little wide at turn 6 and is trying to see what he can do and put some more pressure on him as DRS is enabled from this lap. As we see, Truly Santana a distance behind, he's 27 seconds behind because of a early pit stop. Perhaps he had to change his wing also due to an incident. So he's still out there with a broken front wing. So let's see if he can obviously thinking that he can manage it, especially in a dirty air. We do have another car in the pit, that's Punisher, who is in pit road to change perhaps onto a medium set of a hard set of tires. As we saw, a little bit of side-by-side action. Looked like the Williams went wide as the front wing change for Punisher. As we got Plant Baseball falling down the order and a big incident at turn 3. So we missed out as we see, if you saw the pit lane, the pit stop. But that leaves Tiz and Ethan to do their own thing. We had a little bit of a Michigan, as we say in the Jewish community, apparently, and that has allowed Bexon and Noriaki Akiyama up into 4th and 5th, as we say, 3rd and 4th places respectively. Well, that's really changed something up. We didn't need to wait for a little bit of a mix-up, but we had a A big incident, a major incident, seemingly in turn 3, as big an incident as you can have without any real damage, it seems like.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting coming through this final corner here, see if there's any diving in the pits, and it looked like the McLaren was a part of that, who is not pitting. So somehow out of that big pile up there in what would have been turn 3, everybody comes out unscathed. So it may be just a loss of positions. That's a dive there from Plant Baseball on Chris, and that'll be a position up to 7th there for Plant Baseball. And it looks like Wendell Johnson makes a move on Ruocco with DRS there. Ruocco maybe with a chance again here into the hairpin with the outside line. Braking a little bit earlier. Was Wendell good on the brakes? It's good. They'll be close to side by side, but once again, Wendell will be able to hold that position as these are tough corners to break through. That's a 10-second penalty for Plant Baseball for maybe contact. Not super sure what the 10-second was for there, as he seems to be pretty clear of everyone else here.
Indeed, and it may would have been in contact in turn 4, I believe. We didn't quite see that, but as it stands right now, out of every one of the 20 drivers, 5 have time penalties against their name, including Wendell Johnson, who has surrendered his 9th place position to Ruocco in the Ferrari, who's having a strong race. The lead Ferrari, as it stands right now, we see Ethan up the inside of turn 3, and he makes the move up ahead, and he takes the lead of the race. Remember, you gotta remember that everyone is at least a position down, because Yellow Purple is registering as being in the lead by a whole minute. So, but that's Plant Baseball coming back, coming up the inside of turn 4, and giving Mark, the Aston Martin, an option. Keep it on the outside on the slammer door, or you surrender, and he's had to do the latter. So that is 6th and 7th position. As we see, that's what looking, almost looked vulnerable from Fenmaster behind, and Fenmaster in his first T1 race, so he's stepping up a level from the T2, and let's see how he can hold his head up in this race time.
Heading into the DRS zones here, Chiz maybe an opportunity here into turn 3. So he'll get DRS all the way down this. How much battery will Ethan have? Very low, low downforce track here. So that DRS will not be as effective down though. So once again, one final overtaking opportunity into the hairpin. Yeah, once again, Ethan maybe with some very good battery management kind of through this 3rd sector, end of the 2nd sector, I should say, start of the 3rd. It's kind of where you want to be saving that battery to try and hold those positions, as it looks like further back in the pack, everyone kind of kept it clean through that hairpin. Not a whole lot of movement through there. Once again, Shiz is going to really want to get on the gearbox. He'd be eager to kind of get that clean air that he almost got a 2nd off the first lap to the lead and lost it with that DRS. So let's see who did a better job of saving the battery through the lap here. Once again, Shiz not an opportunity to overtake. This is looking a lot like Bahrain last week, where Chiz was locked on the gearbox of UW Sosa for most of the race until a strategy error came UW's way. Will it be similar today, or will Chiz have an opportunity to make it past Ethan to regain that lead once again?
And talking of strategy, we're about to step into the first pit window of the race. If you're on a 2-stop strategy, we do have Wendell Johnson, who is the only man, and we got a recovering driver in the Haas. What are you doing? Moved up a way to spun at turn 3 and decided he will try and recover in the line and on the racing line of other drivers. Well, that borderline reckless there, and that may be causing this bunch up between the McLaren, the RB, and the 2 drivers behind him. This is back in the Red Bull, and that's Zephyr with Wendell Johnson right there behind him. Dimensioned him because he's on the red mark top tires from the start, and he may well be starting to consider whether the 2-stop window is opening up for him as it stands right now. As a Fentmaster, we tried to make an overtake on Wendell Johnson, who is diving into the pit stop for his first pit, for his first pit stop, changing tires off the red marked off tires, and we'll see what he decides to do. The first man into the pit for strategy, we already had two, and for damage, repairs, that's Punisher and Santana. That explains why they are in the final two positions. As Ronald Johnson will come out behind, or may just be ahead of Punisher. We'll see how that transpires. Just ahead of Punisher. Nope, Punisher gets ahead of him, as you can see on the track map. If you focus on what's going on the track, Mark right now in 8th place, and he's got the two. It's got 6th and 7th right ahead of him. As Plant Baseball and Russo were battling very close for position. It's a three-way between those two. Those three. Change of position, as that's Ethan who's gone into the pit. Change for the lead, so Ethan into the pit road. This looks like a two-stop pit. I don't know what Chiz will decide to do, if we'll decide to stay out for just this one more lap and react to Ethan, be forced into a reaction for a two-stop strategy, or if he's going to commit to a one-stop.
Interesting
also depends.
strategy here.
Yep, so I was just going to remark that Ethan has now come out into pretty much a bit of traffic now. He's down into 13th place, right behind, he's just taken closest position, single side by side as he came out. Now, Ethan will be hoping not to get caught up in some traffic, as Chiz is approaching at the midsection of the track as Punisher. Has to let by Ronald Johnson for overspeed, rest tires, bit more traction out of turn 1, and of course ERS. So what does Chiz decide to do, Alec? Does he decide to pit in now?
Man, this is a huge decision here for Chiz. For me, this all kind of depends, and we don't have the information on his tires currently, but if he's able to hang on and do a medium hard strategy through this race, he may be able to not really have to deal with that current overcut, I guess you could say, undercut that will not Ethan would be having. He'll enjoy that free air out in front. So if I was Chiz and my tires are in a good situation here, maybe I'd hang on to them and yeah, just go as long as we can, as we see some people boxing for Inter, so maybe some rain inbound, and maybe that will play into the favor of Chiz. Because if that's the case, this is going to be very tough for Ethan if he has just pit in, and we are about to get some rain drops falling, as we do see some on the screen. That is huge for this race here, as Ethan has already pit for hards, and we're starting to see some rainfall, and that is huge for Chiz, who will be able to pit in, and I'm going to think likely not Ethan's going to have to come into the pits once again for some likely wets. So we'll see what the rest of the pack does here, but we're starting to see some raindrops fall here, and this is going to be pretty tough for Ethan.
This is playing brilliantly into the hands of Chiz, who led the race. Ethan decided to go for the pits for a new set of dry tires, but only about 2 minutes later, the rain decided it's going to make its presence known on the Red Bull Ring here in the hills of Goldberg. And now, with about half the field going on to the intermediate tires, reacting to the rainfall and land on the racetrack. As to what the change is, a lot of positions will be changing too. Everyone on the dry tires will be trying to hang on to these dry sets of tires for as long as they can, so that the intermediates will be able to last for as long as they can. As we see Young Will lose his position to Noriaki Akiyama, who is on intermediate. Young Will gets a pit on the hard tires. He's on the dry set of tires. As we see, 15. This is Truly Santana, who was losing a lot of traction and will lose 15th place to Fax in the McLaren. Truly Santana is on the medium tires, so that may explain why he's losing some traction. As we see the Chiz is in through the pit lane, Faxon is deciding to keep it out there. As not Ethan comes across the line, and remember, he's on dry tires on this track, which is getting wetter and wetter. Is this the crossover working very... How's this going to work? is it going to work better for the dry type, or is it going to work good for everyone on Inches? It should be the latter, but we'll see for how long the rain will stay and how heavy it will fall. As Vexen is lost the rear at turn 6, and now he has lost well, the horse ahead of him was a lap
That's
down,
dealing
I
with a back
believe.
marker here.
Yep, it's a smooth operator who's either not seeing blue flags or decided to go colorblind. But he was he may have affected Vexen right there, who was in the lead of the race, leading by 10 seconds. Will he pit in here? And he looks like he is into pit road. He goes as we see action in turn 4. It's the McLaren. Oh, back with no, it's not. It's the McLaren of help me out here. Let me see who we're talking about. I
That was the
believe
McLaren effects. Yeah.
yes, it was with Master behind in the Alpine. So and Ruko's in amongst that on easy. We tried on as Ethan enters pit road for the second time. The tires not working for him, and the intermediates will.
Yeah, that's tough, and we'll have to see where Ethan comes out here, hoping to probably get out ahead of that pack, and he will. He'll just be dealing, and we have full course yellow flag right now. Not super sure what's causing this. Is Wendell Johnson comes into
Then the
to
safety
the
car is
pits, and
out.
that's a
Safety
safety
car is
car.
out. It's a full course yellow plus a safety car making its way on the race circuit. So that is due to Bonacieux, who's had his second big crash of the event. He had a big crash in qualifying, and he is our first DNF of the race. So just to remark on what happened to Ethan, he was about 15 seconds behind Tiz as he came back on the race circuit. So that decision of pitting in earlier for a set of dry tires cost him dearly. However, the safety car is going to bunch up the pack as we just go past the quarter of the 33% mark of this race. Lap 14, Shields will step onto. He's leading the race with Noriaki Yakiyama in second place. Vexen, her teammate, is in third. And just to remind you again, Yano Pitbull seems to not be, from the beginning of the race, has not tracked properly, so it is a full showing of him in first position. I believe he's in I believe he's 14th by what I can see. If we see Plant Baseball in pit, what he's going to decide to do is he's going on to another set of intermediate tires. I think it's time penalty actually. So he will be changing his tires onto a fresher set of inches, I guess. Ruko is still out there on medium tires. Interesting.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I'm not sure, on my track map, it looks like, yeah, the safety car is letting everyone through for another lap here without being behind the safety car. So this is interesting. Not super sure what's going on there, as it's now following the pack in turn 3 here. I'm going to have to see what's going on here, why the safety car is among all these cars here. Yeah,
I
very
believe,
interesting here.
Yeah, I believe the letting by of the cars was because the leader has not caught up yet. We've just had to put up the safety car. We just have a McLaren ahead of him. Nope, it looks like I might be going colorblind as well. It looks like we're just having a look at the chat in the D1 chat, and apparently, Yano may well be in 12th position. So, hopefully, as we see him showing him, see him showing him first. I believe he's actually leading the safety car. He's leading the pack
Yeah,
behind him on the
that's what's
safety car.
going on here.
Right, so we've got a real bizarre, we've got a real bizarre happening here. So Yano has decided to withdraw himself to the side of the track so as to let everyone else by. Due to the glitch of the session, it is showing him as in pole, as in first position, and had done so from the very beginning. The glitch well, he's truly in what looks to be 12th. And because of that, now the safety car has come out, and it's the video game believes that Yano Pitbull is the safety car leader. So, well, we will see how
Oh,
this works. Our true leader is this guy, Tiz, who is drawing up on the safety car now.
yeah, this safety car would have worked really well into the hands of not Ethan, but because of this glitch here, um, that has Yano Pitbull as the race leader, not Ethan won't be able to pull that, 20-second gap that currently, more than 20-second gap between Chiz and not Ethan, which was split between less than a second before Ethan pit early for those hards before the rain fell. So this, from what was bad, just went worse for not Ethan. As it likely the it won't bunch up before the safety car ends here. So just from worse to even worse there for Ethan. Tough situation here for him.
Now, what this has all done, Tiz still hasn't caught up to the safety car yet, and neither has everyone else caught up to the drivers ahead of them. This is delaying the whole safety car procedure because the safety car won't come in until until the group has relatively bunched up to a sensible amount. As we see, people again still being shown as in first position. So as it stands, this safety car will be extending until everyone has caught up. And the safety car came out lap 13. Well, now on lap 17 and approaching, will bypass half distance 18 with the safety car still out as Tiz enters pit lane again. Knows he's gonna change onto another set of intermediate tires, the fresher set, and a fresher, newer set that should surely last until the end of this race. So he's in and out, and well, the race order as we have it, as you see it on the screen, and look at this now. The safety car will be in this lap with cars scattered all over the race circuit. Okay, we're just gonna have to deal with this as we go into lap 18. The race order, the true race order, is his by about 14 seconds. Vecton, Noriaki Akiyama in second, Vecton third, Norithan fourth, Max fifth, Bandmaster sixth, seventh Future Falls, FIA eighth, also in the Ferrari, the lead Ferrari in ninth place. Fifth is the Soul Williams in 10th place, Young Will 12th, Young Will 11th, Bueno Johnson 12th, Blunt Baseball 13th, Mark 14th, Judy Santana 15th, Ruko 16th. He entered the pit lane about 2 laps to go to get intermediate tires. Smooth Operator is in 17th, and Zephyr has just received a 3-second time penalty onto the safety car. I'm not sure how that works as we are about to go. Green flag racing. And Chiz still, we go green flag racing now as Chiz comes across the line with a big gap of 12 seconds. He's the only one who's on lap 17 as it stands right now due to unfortunately glitched safety car intervention. Well, it's not really the safety car that really caused the glitch. It's Yano Pitbull who has not of his own doing ended up in first. There's a time glitch. So, as it stands, we go green flag racing. Wendell Johnson has taken FIA's position in 12th place. And we are halfway through. This is now an intermediate race circuit. An intermediate weather circuit now. As this drives away. We're on board with Yano Pitbull's shoulder cam as it is. And while he's fallen down the order. Still showing his 12th position, but I believe he is indeed 19th out of all the 19 runners. And Slam Baseball comes out of turn 3, slightly ahead now, slightly ahead of FIA. So these two in the Mercedes and the Red Bull, respectively, FIA, Slam Baseball and FIA have been jockeying for position. Slam Baseball did take FIA's position, and they look like they get to do some defending in turn 3.
So by the looks of it on the timing board here, Jano Pitbull, I believe, is playing the good man's game here and taking that gap back a little bit, because that, once again, at the start of this race, that used to be and during that safety car, I believe it was a 30-second gap. So I'm pretty sure Jano Pitbull is falling back at the moment, as it looks like Smooth Operator's out of the race. So he's retiring there just at the start of Sector 3. Not super sure what happened with his car that he's doing this. But yes, we can see the gap is falling very rapidly between Jano Pitbull and Chiz. So this order should be fixed kind of by the time, in some short time here. So unfortunate glitch here that has kind of hurt out some people. But Jano Pitbull doing the right thing here and making sure. And there goes Chiz through Jano Pitbull. So correct thing there done by Jano Pitbull.
Yeah, real unfortunate for Pitbull in this situation. It's a situation that's glitched out of his hands. As you see, Chris under fire from Young Will. Locked up the rears a little bit and slid into turn 4, but slides into 8th position. So that is McLaren making the move up the inside. As we are on lap 20 right now. Well, only this is on lap 20 actually. As we see Mark looking vulnerable in turn 8 and turn 7, and gone wide, and now it's lost 2, maybe 3 positions as the Haas is hounding him now. As you see, Wendell Johnson going a little wide and shaking the house out a little bit at turn 9, coming through turn 10. Fine, only 10 corners on this circuit, and we have a whole 17 laps to go in this 36 lap race. See, the umbrella is still up in the stands. I don't quite see or tell if the racetrack is getting wetter, but the track is providing some good battling here as we see the Mercedes go up the inside as Club Faithful taking Wendell Johnson's position, and Sosa is coping with a little bit of wheel spin and Mark on his tail. So let's see how this goes. Is Sosa able to defend his position? Doesn't have to do so much defending with Mark, by staying quite a distance behind and not close enough to chance an overtake.
Yeah, looking like a really tough race here for our championship leader. Probably not kind of what he's expecting coming off what was a really good drive. Unfortunate mistake on the strategy, but what was a really good drive in Bahrain there is Ethan and Noriaki Akiyama make contact right there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
pushes.
Yeah, that's wheel banging between the pair of them. Not too consequential, but Noriaki Akiyama makes it through into P2, and Ethan tries to get a position back on the apex. I was pinched on the apex, and Noriaki Akiyama can drive away with second place, but Ethan managed to get ahead of Vexen a few laps ago and has split the Red Bulls and is trying to do what he can. And I don't know if there's a bit of a collision between Vexen and not Ethan going into turn 4. It completely sounded as though it might have been a little minor collision, unless it may have just been a bit of sound crunching. But this is the battle for second, third, and fourth places on the screen. It's Noriaki Akiyama, Ethan, and Vexen who are second, third, and fourth. And now let's see what defensive driving Noriaki Akiyama can do, because Ethan will be trying to get that position back. Will he try to move up the inside? Not here in turn 1, but here we go. Or drive on the outside on the exit of turn 2 using DRS. And now what can we do? But I can try to move up the inside. He's done so, and Noriaki Akiyama has to go wide, but doing so got a bit more traction on the exit. But Ethan will soon be on. Noriaki Akiyama tries to deep dive up the inside of turn 4, and
what
just made
move.
It caught Ethan by surprise, and so much so Vexen has come through as well. And now those two are side by side, not quite side by side, but Vexen has taken third place, so that's both Red Bulls on podium as it stands right now.
Yeah, what an absolute like move there from Noriaki Akiyama, just sending it right back where Ethan came from, sending it right back down the inside. Likely some very good, as there's no DRS right now, so likely some good battery management, as it's a battle of the battery management currently with no DRS. So locally, probably just a little bit more DRS, or ERS, sorry, I should say, in the tank of Noriaki Akiyama there, and brings Vexen into the plate and maybe switching positions right here as well.
Look at Ethan. Look at Ethan. He's trying to move up the inside. So he tried to follow Vexen's lead, knowing that Noriaki Akiyama will let by her teammate Vexen, but going around the outside. Now Ethan decides to make the dive, and it's side by side coming through turn 4, hang on to the apex, and might be a little bit more ruthless coming out of turn 4. Ethan is up ahead and now trying to chase Vexen for that position as we see. Jesus rolls. That's not Jesus rolls. That is that's the modern of Mark, side by side with Wendell Johnson, and with Solstice Jesus Rules and FIA and Ruko and Truly Santana all behind. They're having a party back there, and switching positions. So, and that's FIA taking 14th from Jesus Rules, I believe that was in the Haas.
Yeah, looking up at the time board there, Noriaki Akiyama's fallen a second and falling quickly from the back, and not Ethan there. So maybe possibly some damage for Noriaki Akiyama, as that gap is falling quick, as that's almost a second by the looks of it in only a sector. So interesting on Noriaki Akiyama and what's going on there. No damage, so just, yeah, maybe something going on with the tires. Maybe they're overheating, who knows, but that second's fallen quite a bit, as it looks like Plant Baseball's making a move down quite a bit of the pack there on Fentmaster and Chris, up a couple positions there for Plant Baseball.
Actually, just got a message from someone who's spectating who said that they've heard that the race is set to stop in about 10 minutes time. So 10 minutes will be about lap 30, about lap 32, which might make things pretty much interesting in the final 5 laps of the race. We're in the final third of this race, and I'll do a little bit of a recap as it stands right now. It is Tiz who leads this race by about 20 seconds, actually, 21 seconds. He is in almost a district of his own. It is Vexen in second place, not Ethan in third. Fourth is Noriaki Akiyama, who's falling back pretty dramatically as it stands right now. Fifth is Young Will with his teammate in sixth, and as you see, this is Sosa into the pits, changing from intermediate tires to shortly another set of inters. I'll continue with the race rundown. In fifth and sixth places are Boss McLaren's Young Will and Fact, Baseball in seventh, Chris, eighth, Ben Master ninth, Wendell Johnson 10th. Although these positions may well be changing pretty quickly. This is Fan Master side by side, almost side by side, with Wendell Johnson on his left as Sosa retires in the pit lane from the second.
Sorry.
Not sure what happened.
Sorry to cut you off. That's huge for the championship. That is huge for the championship. UW Sosa's out of the race, and this has brought the door wide open for Chiz and I'm Vexen to kind of take some points here off the championship leader.
Indeed it does. The championship leader who's not been off the podium in the first 5 races of this season. And now he will not finish this race. So that really does bring his into play for this World Championship even closer. You see young Will looking like he's struggling out of Red Bull curve, which is the final corner as Mark enters the pit lane on intermediate tires. So I believe the Red Bull, the McLarens, don't think they could change position today. Not quite sure if they did, but they're still 5th and 6th on the track. Remember, Yano Pitbull is showing erroneously as being in a top 2 position. And has done from the beginning of the race. So unfortunate for him that he is tracking so incorrectly. You see battle for what is the final podium. This is second and third position. So just -1 for every other driver's position. The lap 27 is not Ethan, who is on the backside of I'm Vecton right here. Vecton, who's been a little bit unlucky so far at some stages of the season. But let's see if he can be making his own luck and keeping second place for a strong 20 points to score here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. Watching a lap car, I believe that is, yes it is, Yano Pitbull. But yeah, Ethan, ending up slipping and keeping to the dry racing line to keep it straight. And now, as we get traction down, a little bit of EOS, as you can see he's using now, but back then he'll probably doing the same to offset. And this will be a battle which will keep going probably until the end of the race. They shouldn't be there should be some more action. As you can see, this is leading with an unassailable lead, and this is Ruko taking the outside line around the outside of Bentmaster, and Ruko takes 11th place. Bentmaster is trying to get the car out of car 3, but he does have FIA very close behind.
Yeah, Fent maybe a little bit lucky with some of that. Didn't really get off very well through the exit of 3 there, and maybe a little lucky that Examine didn't even have another runner, or should I say FIA, didn't have a run at him through that corner as well. So he's under threat largely here from FIA as well.
Indeed, and immediately on the threat right now is, as you said, Bentmaster on the threat. FIA tries to go around the outside, does Bent leaves space a little bit, but keeps the racing line, keeps position, keeps drop, but he does have a slightly inferior exit, and FIA is thinking about a move up the inside, but Bent is deciding to give is keeping golf on his own, saving battery for his defense if he has any, but looks like FIA is using all of his battery to get past Ben and to get 12th place. Remember, for everyone who's maybe watching for the first time, points go down to 15th position. So as it stands so far, Zephyr will be the one who will be scoring the last points paying position. So as we've seen on screen, this is leading by almost 22 seconds. Vecton behind and locked in a battle with the Green Monster, which is the kick, trying to shove and punch and kick him off the second place of the podium. But they will be finishing and scoring at least 17 points. Whoever will finish second and third. It looks like his first position is pretty much locked right now. He's closer to lapping cars than he is to any competition behind. Seeing both of the McLarens right here, Max and Young Will, in 5th and 6th position.
So Young Will probably a little eager to get ahead of Fax here after he kind of had a little bit of that. He had a really bad exit out of the last turn there, which lost him the position to Fax. So probably kind of trying to hunt, but once again, will there be papaya rules here? And will they kind of be nice to each other, let's just say, as the racing line is starting to look a lot drier. So I wonder if any of our drivers are maybe starting to consider perhaps throwing on a set of softs to the end of this race, maybe a little bit too early, as that we can see actually the rain is still falling. It's a little hard to see through here, but yeah, I can still see some raindrops, so probably actually not a consideration at all for our drivers as the raindrops continue to fall.
Yeah, what I do know is both these McLarens are actually in the team radio between them, so they're probably in conversation whilst they're driving, conversation in between each other whilst they're driving. And well, if they stay in this position, they'll be scoring about, I believe, about 26 points if they finish in 4th and 5th places. So doesn't matter so much the order between them. But we are on lap 31 as this crosses the line. It's the final 5 after this, and we are seeing many close battles. Close battle, what? It's still second and third place between Vexen and Ethan, and who are separated by about half a second, a little bit more than that. We've got 6 tenths that separate both McLarens, but don't expect so much drama from those two. But behind Chris in ninth place is this battle of cars. Randall Johnson, who is right in front of us, who on the nose right now, right in the nostril of Ruko in 11th place. Behind FIA, who's just 3 seconds behind, but both Alpines are very close to each other in 13th and 14th positions of Fantmaster and Julie Santana, and Zephyr is putting pressure on the pair of them in the positions behind. So final 5 laps, final 6 laps including this one, and let's see what Ruko can do. I believe he's on slightly newer tires as well, and the drivers ahead of him. So maybe they'll prove an advantage. Only 2 laps younger than the Keck. He almost squeezes him through turn 2, but got through there. That was maybe just over the borderline as Ruko goes wide in turn 3, and Wendell tries to get a position back, but he almost at the door lands shot on Ruko, but Ruko was already there with the throttle all the way down and up the position. Ruko go.
A little bit of outbreaking himself a little bit there, Truly Santana, as he got passed there by Zephyr. So just looks like he's fighting these tires maybe just a little bit worn, as a lot of these racers have been on these inters for a long time and just constantly losing that rear is Truly Santana. So I'm going to guess those rears are just completely shot, and Truly Santana maybe falling down the board a little bit here kind of as this race goes on. Lucky part is though that, let's see, that rear still being a little bit slidey, wasn't able to get a very good exit out of that corner, as we see Ruko and Chris changing positions here.
So Chris was defending the inside. I just interrupt, but it looked like Chris was defending the inside, but Ruko was committed to it, and Chris has now got drive out of the last corner, but Ruko takes back 9th place, where he took it from him in turn 2, looked like he turned through. And now Chris is under pressure from Wendell Johnson right behind. It's a 4-way battle for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th places. Remember, they are a position ahead. Each driver is a position ahead of what is being recorded, except from Yano Pitbull, who is going in 4th place.
Yeah, and Vexen starts kind of pulling away from Ethan here. That gap is now at 1.3 seconds, so Vexen now kind of taking control of that second position. But once again, we're only entering lap 33 here, so lots of racing to go. And will Ethan be able to, as that gap actually, likely a bad exit out of a corner there for Ethan, as he lost another 2 tenths very rapidly there.
I've seen the gap come down a little bit between Vexen and Ethan. It was just over 1 second, and now it's just under that mark right now. So, yep, there's still some battles to go on. Perhaps second and third will still be in a battle as we go across the line. A few laps ago, looked like Chiz lost about a couple seconds. Perhaps he was behind a back marker at the time, but he's gained a second more on Vexen, as he's well and truly in control of this here Austrian Grand Prix. You see young Will taking some of the wet part of the race circuit to cool down the tires. These will be bringing it home in 5th and 6th places likely, but in which order will be up to them. As you see, 9th place, Chris, who is holding that 9th position. Wendell Johnson has got a bit more, well, close twist on this occasion. Perhaps he will be trying to make an attack. Meanwhile, by the way, this was a four-way battle. What does FIA do? Leans off the brakes and just tries to save a bit of battery and save some energy for the next for the next occasion. When he do, we did have a spinner look like as we see side by side between Bach and Fatmaster. So a lot of there's some like a minor incident between those two in turn 3.
Examine
And
just
just to say,
really. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Examine just desperate to kind of get past as we see Zephyr gets ahead of Fentmaster behind the pack, because that looks like it's maybe a close battle here. As this is a very dangerous spot to go side by side there, and it looks like Zephyr took the smart decision there and backed out. As Fentmaster kind of playing the cards a little bit like a great racer named Max Verstappen, making sure there's no way he's going to back out, and they know he's not going to back out, and he'll be able to hold on to that position periodically. But will Zephyr have another opportunity at him later on in this race, as we only have 2 more laps left, as I believe that's the final lap begun there for Chiz, who's currently driving away with it 20 seconds ahead of the next racer, which is I'm Vexen at 20 seconds.
As we see, Chris Wilder in the three-way battle. Ruko, by the way, who overtook Wendell a few laps ago. And Chiz is about 5 seconds away, so he is gone and gone. So showing some good pace in this pretty mixed weather session. As we see,
there goes FIA.
Grandmaster FIA indeed, who was side by side. But let's focus on Chiz, who's in the midst of Sector 2 right now. Well, he won last time in Bahrain. He's coming closer to it until his first victory. And you know what I say about London buses? 2 come along at once after a long wait, and 2 victories come at once for Chiz. Second race win for Chiz. 2 race wins in a row, third podium in a row, and he eats into Sosa's championship lead with a second race victory. And this is Vexen coming across the line home in about 20 seconds, 21 seconds away from the eventual runaway race leader. So well done to him, and Not Ethan will collect third place on the podium.
So yeah, we could say Noriaki Akiyama likely coming across here as what would be fourth place. There's going to be some action going on after the race here to figure out this whole Jano Pitbull situation, as that was, I mean, it's not his fault, so it's hard to punish the guy, but fourth place likely will not be the finishing position there. That was a close, really close. Sorry, I was gone yapping, and that was a really close across the line there between the 2 McLarens.
Yes, it looks as though they tried to organize a Schumacher Barrichello situation from 2004 United States Grand Prix. As we see, each of the cars come across the line, a penalty is being applied as well if they received any. But yes, we got our top 3 on the podium. That's his for the 3rd time on the podium with his 2nd consecutive win, getting 25 points. But this 25 points will feel even sweeter considering championship leader Sosa did not finish this race. So a full solid 25 points goes to Rick Master. Cheers as we see him taking another victory and another trophy home.
Driver of the day is Fax FX, our race winner. Of course, Chiz started on pole, will finish the race ahead of everyone else. Fastest laps set by Jano Pitbull. Most overtakes by the FIA. And the cleanest driver, Truly Santana. So we'll go over the order once more. Chiz, your race winner, Vexen, and Ethan finish up the podium. Yano Pitbull, Noriaki Akiyama, Fax FX, Young Will, Ruko, Plant Baseball, Fentmaster, Mark, Chris, FIA, Zephyr, Truly Santana, Wendell Johnson, Jesus Rules, UW Sosa, and Smooth Operator finish up the race as they did not finish the race at the end there. So yeah, that race, huge implications on the championship lead as UW Sosa did not finish the race. So I'm sure we'll hear at some point kind of what went on there, that he lost out on some points, but that's very key. As Chiz, hey, we're playing F125, but this is reminding me a lot of a sudden Dutchman coming across from pretty far behind in the championship lead, despite him being in second place, I believe, heading into this race. But once again, that gap in the championship was quite large. So good on the Dutchman, because yeah, he's flying up that order right now, and this is making a pretty tight chase here for P1 in the current driver standings.
Indeed, it's actually just while we try and bring in Cheers for his post-race interview, I was actually saying earlier that this kind of reminds me of the 2005 Formula One season, in which perhaps the outright fastest driver, who at that point was Kimi Raikkonen, not really been getting the luck, whereas Fernando Alonso was the most consistent. But unfortunately, uh, Sosa, with his consistency, his bubble has burst, and has not scored points, whereas this man, Tiz, has got maximum points. Congratulations, Tiz, on your second race victory.
Thank you, thank you. It was
Not only race victory, but you started from pole once again. So, what is on paper, pole to flag victory. How's it feel? Third podium in a row.
yes, it felt very amazing, especially on the inters. But like, yeah, it was too bad the race with the glitch and shit.
Yeah. Tell me about the glitch. Actually, your view would probably be respective of everyone else's. Did it throw you off that it was showing Yano Pitbull being in P1?
Yes. He was a lap ahead in already at the start. It's just a glitch you have sometimes in open lobbies.
Yeah, and also just have to say kind of an apology to Yano Pitbull, whose race was pretty much messed up because of that. So unfortunate for him. Cheers, you pit in lap, I believe it was lap 12, but I believe it was Ethan who was racing with you. Pit in on lap 9 for dry tires. Are you confident that your tires would last until the rain until the rain came?
Yeah, I was pretty confident. I didn't even saw that rain was coming, so it was quite a surprise. But when I saw the rain was coming, I just nursed my tires until the rain, and then just went on inters until the end.
Yeah, we also saw that you had enough time and enough space to pit in for another set of intermediate tires. Was that under the safety car? Was that due to having concerns as to how long the inters would go?
Yeah, also that, but I also knew the tire one inters was pretty high, so I just risked it and did it and for new tires. So I
Okay,
knew
and
I
as I
could make
said, this.
them.
Yep, sorry to interrupt. As I said, this is your second race victory, but now you've eaten into Sosa's lead so much so that you're on 89 points and only 13 away from the championship leader at halfway through the season. Is this a fight for the championship now, from your perspective?
Yeah, it's been pretty close so far. Not really that close, but I've been trying to regain some points after a bad start to the season. So hopefully I can go fight for the championship now.
Okay. Well, yep. Cheers. I don't know if Alex has a question for you.
No, you covered it all. I want to give my congratulations. And yeah, keep at her, because this championship is starting to become very interesting. And I hope to kind of see some more battles and between you and UW going forward. And I'm sure some of our other racers like Ethan or Vexen or and yeah, any of those other ones who've been kind of starting to peek their heads up at the front of the order there. We'll see some good battling moving forward. So I look forward to that and kind of keep up the work because yeah, this championship after this race here got very interesting. So good luck to you.
Thank you, thank you. I will try my best.
Yeah, and
Okay,
here's just final question. Just before you go, Australia up next. Are you hopeful of making it a hat trick of race wins?
I'll try. Australia is not one of my best tracks, but I'll try to just get enough points to close in that gap.
All right. Well, cheers, race winner for the second time in a row. Thank you very much, and well done.
Thank you.
All right.
okay.
Let's see if we can bring in. Yeah, sorry. Let's see if we can bring in average for a few comments on the two races that we've had so far.
For sure. Here, and just in the meantime, let me pull up our standings here because I am very curious kind of how all this looks here. So yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
was
whilst
sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, whilst you do that, I still got the overtake of Nariaki Akiyama in my mind because it was pretty smart.
Wow,
Seemed to
yeah.
fade off seemed to fade off the brake to allow Ethan to brake a little bit deeper, and then get all the way off the brakes to pound into turn four to make that move. That really truly surprised Ethan. And if that was exactly the play, then it's a really smart overtake uh, in terms of what actually happened on the circuit and in terms of mentally getting Ethan to be off his guard a little bit. That also put Vexen up ahead as well. Unfortunately for Noriaki Akiyama, she fell away as her teammate Vexen and Ethan drove away to fight for second and third places. But yep, just set up for that as a, or well, at least from my overtake of the day from what we saw.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, speaking of the driver standings, I'm taking a peek here at the constructor standings. So Ferrari, in quite a bit of trouble here with both those Red Bulls, kind of in the top five there in fourth and second, I believe, off the top of my head. So with both of those finishes, and the Aston Martin win from Chiz, I think Mark was kind of fighting for some of those bottom points, if I remember correctly. So that's going to drop Ferrari likely 2 positions into fourth, probably from second. So that's tough situation there. Can't exactly remember where our Mercedes finished, um, but yeah, I think they'll still be holding their grasp onto that first position in the constructors. But once again, this is really starting to tighten up, kind of in both sides of the standings here in the constructors and drivers. So lots to look forward to kind of as we head into the second stage of the season here.
And shout out to McLaren as well, who's got a solid 22 points, finishing fifth and sixth positions. That'll put them up to at least sixth in the championship. Perhaps both over outscoring us and perhaps not the Sauber because we had a Sauber on the podium, but a strong finish for the pair of them. And the McLaren should step up from fourth in the championship. So yeah, so highlight of well, the main storyline of Division One race, the championship leader who scored 5 straight podiums did not finish this race, and that's allowed his to finish to get his well, his was in control of the Austrian Grand Prix, got 25 points, and now the lead is shrunk compared to Sosa and also Vexen, who finished second place. So the lead two drivers in the championship, lead three drivers in the championship, a point was 38 between them and will be much less now going in uh, going towards Austria. 6 races in, 6 races to go.
Yeah, yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting heading to Australia, which I believe is round 7. So That was the last race of the first half of the season there. And it isn't much like obviously at the start of the season you start with 0, but it doesn't get much closer than how it is right now. So once again, I will say there's so much to look forward to. I believe Average is not at his desk currently, so we'll have to, yeah, we'll probably not get any comments from him there. But yeah, once again, really good race overall. And yeah, I don't have much else to say there. Good race there from our drivers.
Indeed, looks like we'll wrap it up there. So to everyone who joined us in various streams on TikTok, on Twitch, on the YouTube, on Kick, and of course in the Discord, except for Mers, have a good night. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time next week for the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne.